There we go. I do believe we are live, so I'll say indeed. And greetings unto ye, our beloved and holy friends. Thank you for joining me once again, for finding yourself in another conscious evolution. Today's whole stream topic is going to be about facial expressions. More so, just like body language, right? And specifically, how I believe, at least, and apparently there's some scientific data to back it as well, that your body language communicates both ways, right? As in, when you look at someone smiling, right, you have this intrinsic understanding of, oh, that person is probably happy right now. But we don't really think about the fact that when we're smiling, your body also has that same informational set communicated back into it of I am happy, right? And then it releases the chemicals, the experience that is going to be, at least in my mind, aligned with that experience. We have Doug, Dad, and Sam, and Kristen, and Shan, and Brother Dan, and I think that's all for now. Blessings to all of you friends. Thank you for joining me. No, you, stunning example of human excellence. Just me. Save it for when Shan gets in. You're a fantastic example of human excellence as well, Sam. Don't sell yourself short. You're beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Feel that smile. Yeah, feel it. Absorb all of that good energies. Kristen, blessings. Sam, Brother Bear, Dan. It's nice having you. So much love to all of you friends. It is cold. It is cold. And the wind is definitely cutting through my bones. But I'm not gonna let it rob me of my facial expressions. I'm gonna so facially express. Hopefully, it can communicate to both of us a sense of comfort. What does comfort look like? I'm gonna stop embarrassing myself. Mm, 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 mm. Let's see if I can find one we haven't read. Mm, I think this is the one. Yeah, I think this is the one. Once you decide to wake up, you can never again pretend that life is only what you see through the senses. Jovan is here too. Once you wake up, you can never again pretend that life is only what you see through the senses. Right? I feel like this slots in a weird place with today's stream topic, where today's stream topic is technically supposed to be about being mindful of our senses, right? The things we hear, the things we say, the things we see in people's faces, for example. And then again, right, attaching that understanding to the deeper knowing that a smiling person's face might not necessarily give you the full spectrum of what it is they're actually experiencing. You can approximate, right? You can maybe like be like, oh, they're happy, but it doesn't give you the full spectrum of why it is they're happy. And in the same way, you might be able to experience this world through your senses. You might be able to feel the cold on your skin, but it's hard. It's a little bit more difficult to understand where all of that cold is coming from, right? Sure, we can, explain it logically, with the turning of the earth and the oscillating further away from our sun, etc., etc. But can you do the same thing for sounds? Can you do the same thing for sight? Can you do the same thing for smells, right? Like I feel like at some point there is like a loss of information, and in my mind, that loss of information is supposed to be inspiring, right? Because it's a good thing that we don't have access to everything. We get to realize that life is more than just what our senses can perceive of it. The you that you are can never be lost, merely forgotten or suppressed. For there is only one question that arises above all others. Who am I? What am I? From where did I come? This question gets suppressed by life's activities. Love is the great healer. Shift from being world observant to being self observant. Yeah, today's stream topic comes back again. Exactly, right? Realizing that the way you express in this world, hey Maxine, is being observed both by the world and by yourself. You cannot do something without a part of you noticing that state of being and having some sort of opinion about it, right? And I'm not necessarily that's a good thing, right? Where we had this a whole conversation about judgment being the opposite of forgiveness, and the thing that's coming into my mind right now is where do we draw the lines, right? What are we willing to forgive? What is unforgivable in our own behavior? I got some bad news this morning. I told you friends yesterday that I wanted to go to a 10-day meditation retreat. And I asked them if I can continue doing my work, these streams. And they were like, nah, you can't. And then I was like, well, cool. Then I'm not doing it, right? Then I was talking to Christian about this. And he was like, maybe this is a sign from the universe that you're supposed to take a break. Put it down. That's the word he used. It's like, maybe you're supposed to put it down. And it kind of like created this almost like visceral, apprehensive state of being in myself, where I started journaling and just writing about how even though I am mildly irritated slash disappointed, that this is how things turn out, I realize that in opening this door, in making this commitment, I am going to be closing other doors, right? Taking away the possibility for other commitments, and the way that I articulated it well, at least for myself, to like really understand it, is journeys, right? Where if you are on a journey, if you are on a path towards something, by nature of the path that you're on, it's impossible for you to walk towards the slide so that I can then come back to the mountain. Maybe you can do that, right? But that's going to be a lot of extra work. And just this feeling of, to kind of connect it to how it is I'm expressing into the outer world and how the outer world is in the same way expressing back into me. Feeling this deep understanding, that there will be experiences where the world is going to try to get you to stop, right? Whatever it is you love, whatever it is you're basically committing yourself to, whatever it is you have made the deliberate decision will be so. The world will sometimes make it difficult, for you to actually stay true to that experience. And I was going through this whole, mental fractal of, changing wants, perceived needs, how, I had this whole idea of what it is I was going to do. Someone just sent me a message whose number I don't have. Wants a moment of my time, they say. Unfortunately, my number has been leaked or has been in the database for a long time. People keep calling me trying to sell me shit. And every single time I answer the phone, I try to be as kind as possible. And then I expressly tell them, I'm not buying anything. I don't want anything. I don't want to buy stuff. And then today, after I went through this whole experience of conceptually, right, perceptually losing something, this opportunity that I wanted to put myself through, I instantly pivoted into wanting to buy other things, where I was like, yeah, maybe I'll take this money that I was saving up, to go and do this experience on some other place. Or, I ended up even going online and looking at freaking disposable vapes, right? Like that was what was happening on my mind, where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna freaking smoke nicotine now. I'm gonna buy myself nicotine. I didn't. I'm happy that I didn't, right? Like a part of me really wanted to kind of like scratch that. There we go. My internet is actively getting better. My internet is not atrocious. I am not angry about paying $100 $6 a month for internet that doesn't work. No, not me. I'm calm. I am gentle. So again, I don't know if that comment or that fractal is still going to continue in your minds, but this communication we have with the outer world happens through our actions as well. You know, the way I notice myself reacting at a base level, realizing that I'm not going to be able to go and have this experience that I thought I wanted to, showed me almost like in a weird visceral way what happens to most of us in the world, you know, where the space, and I'm thinking about like Fight Club, you know, like we've been lied to, like we're not going to get to live these lives we've been promised kind of vibe. And to see that at the larger extent, how not being able to get what we want from life, you know, and that is different for all of us, but I feel there are probably some similarities that will, you know, be the same for all of us. But not being able to get what we want from life leads us to trying to take back control in other ways, right? Escapism, being able to buy things that make us feel a certain way, or you know, this willingness to almost like soothe ourselves. Maybe that's the thing that I'm feeling deeply into, right? Noticing that there is this part of me that wants to soothe certain experiences with others, and realizing that that's also not going to help me necessarily, right? Like I had to legitimately sit down with myself and ask myself why it is I'm reacting this way, and is it going to actually be helpful, right? That I was like again taking it to the extreme where I was picturing myself now having bought these not THC, nicotine vape products and vaping them, and it's enjoyable, right? Like that experience can be enjoyable, but I did this in China. I actually bought myself those in China as well. You know, I would do it to the point of nausea, right? Because again, it was a control thing. Oh, want to have this experience? All you do is puff on this thing. Oh, now I'm having experience, right? Like it was it was this weird experience of like the whole point of this meditation retreat is to help people kind of like break that escapism loop, break that experience of, you know, seeking things of the world, you know, to kind of like soothe them. And then not being able to have that experience, the first thing that my brain started doing is trying to look for that button. And it was almost like I, at least in part, got some of the wisdom I was supposed to learn. Maybe over the next 60 days, I'll get it like in little snippets. I'll explain you logically. Please do. Don't let him know. But I sort of, at this moment, agree with Christian. Yeah, I thought you would. I'm not surprised, right? A part of me agrees with Christian. That's kind of the joke. You know, maybe I should read you this journal entry to give you like some perspective of what my mind was going through as well. There's like a specific part that I feel really kind of touched on what I was talking about. Mm-mm-mm. Maybe I'll read you the whole bit, you know, so you can like really experience what I was going through. Got a reply from the meditation retreat letting me know that they will not be allowing me to attend while continuing to do my work. I feel a bit angry, but mostly just accepting that the nature of my journey will make other journeys untakeable. I do not lose anything, as I gain instead a life lived with purpose. This is one of the most rare experiences I could ever have, a life lived in complete surrender to love. I know that this is my purpose and the reason for my life here on earth. I will not be convinced to let go of what I know is true. I will not be surprised by the attempts to get me to stop. The world will try, but I will not let go of who I am in this world, of who I am in this world, but not, that's stripping me out, of who I am. And then I spaced out, I guess, and then I instantly went into, I am in this world, but not of this world. I will honor my life with commitment. right? So I agree. I do agree. That's the joke. That's kind of the thing I'm talking about, Brother Bear, is that I actually agree. You know, but the version of me that agrees is the version of me that doesn't want to take responsibility for the path that I'm on, right? It's a matter of proof, right? Like, I feel like the point of doing it the way that we're doing it right now, the consecutive nature of it, the daily showing up, it's supposed to be ridiculous. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be the hardest thing I'll ever do in my life, right? And the point of this difficulty is to show just how much the human being is capable of if they do something for love, you know? And I love you, friends, exponentially, to a concerning degree, more than I even love my own sanity. Never mind my own sanity, but my own needs, right? And I know that's probably not healthy to say, but I do believe I have a certain sense of balance, right? It's just a matter of what it is I'm willing to do, and then who it is I want to be, right? If 50 years from now I look back to these moments, what is going to make me more proud? That I actually stuck to the commitments that I made, or that I broke my commitments when I felt I wanted to, right? I don't want to be that version of me that breaks my commitments because I want to, right? A deliberate decision that something will be so. That's my definition for commitment these days. A commitment is a deliberate decision that something will be so. I made that decision very deliberately, realizing that it is going to put me on a journey that is gonna make other journeys untakeable. And I am okay with that. I feel like that's the lesson I'm supposed to be learning today, because of my way of communicating, right? The things I do day by day by day says something to the world. And then because of what I said to the world will say things back to me. Like, no, you can't come and do a meditation retreat doing your work, right? And instead of crying about it, instead of making an issue out of it, I can accept. I could be like, okay, guess no meditation retreat for me, right? And I'm satisfied with that as an outcome, because the only thing that it says to me is my willingness to actually show up for what I believe, right? And I'm unwilling, nothing. Like, they would, if there is anything, trying to take that away from me, they would have to grip it from my dead hands. Like, I will not let go. Lois, noticed your shiny hair this morning. I wanted to say something. It looks super slick and healthy. Thick and healthy. Blessings. Thank you for sending love to our beloved Lois Zana as well. Blessings to you, dear friend. We have Joe Schmo and Zano joining us too, sending you friends blessings. I'm not saying I want you to go and break your streak, but I do know in past experiences, sometimes the simple act of getting myself out of my routine creates new fractals. I agree, right? Like, that was kind of what I was trying to do, Duck Dad. I wanted to get out of my normal fractal. I would have had to not teach yoga for those 10 days. I would have not been allowed to do my journal. I would have not been allowed to make my flowers. And I was going to apologize to you friends, that I can't do that for you friends during those 10 days. But I would have still wanted to do these streams. And I stated clearly, I'll do them silently. I won't read chat. I'll do like a reverse, like only the camera pointing to me, and then we can just sit in silence for like 30 minutes a day, because we do have like a break time, like an hour from 4 to 5. That's like I went and like studied the schedule and stuff like that as well, making sure that I'm not going to do something that's going to interrupt the practice. But unfortunately, no, right? That's not the way it's going to work for me. But that doesn't mean I don't get to have those experiences, because that's, again, right? That's the first thing that I pivoted towards, where I was like, well, if I can't have that experience, then maybe I ought to go somewhere else and, have a different experience instead. Because I do agree with you on that fractal, right? Getting yourself out of the routine that you're kind of like busy with day after day, it does help, right? And that's why I really love the festivals. And I think I should start going to more of them. I probably will when I start working in that space as well. But yeah, it's gonna be a slow but sure thing. I appreciate your love as well. What a bummer, Melt. Maybe there's a different place that will allow you to still stream. No, unfortunately, there aren't many places like that. There's one center in all of South Africa that offers that vipassana, I think that's what it's called, meditation retreat. And I've heard very good things. I've had friends that went there as well. But again, it is not what I'm here to do, apparently, right? And I feel like I'm in acceptance of that experience. Thank you, Sam. I straightened it yesterday, but it was so hot and humid. By the time I finished all the blow drying and flat ironing, I was sweating so much that it got all huge and frizzy again. The amount of effort you friends put in. Thank you for communicating to the world in that way too. The buy something new fractal really resonates. I'm very close to impulsive buying a tree climbing rig. I mean, is it going to return on the investment, right? That's basically how I got myself not to buy the nicotine products, because I was like, are you going to be able to earn money buying these smoking products, or are you going to be burning money? And I was like staring at myself, what are you going to say? What are you saying to the world? Oh yeah, I like things that will probably addict me, that I'm going to want to continue buying, that's going to continue burning money, that I don't have much of already. And I was like, nah, can't justify that. had to leave it in the cart. So I flat ironed it again this morning, and still all poofy, but a little bit more manageable. That was ironic, just thinking about being without Melt for a while, and then no Melt. Yeah, it was kind of trippy as well. Suddenly the internet is like, yeah, have this experience, communicate in multiple layers what it is you're trying to say. It's so weird that happens. I always thought that humid weather should make hair softer and more manageable. It's bullshit, yo. I think it happens because of like the scaled nature of your hair, right? It's like scales stacked on scales stacked on scales. And if you have more humidity, it kind of like, that's the way I'm like thinking about it in my mind. It makes sense to me that it would mess with your hair. Man, I bet you go through a ton of conditioner. Can I ask if you use for your frizz? Teach us. Don't call me out in my escapism. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I want to escape as well, right? There's still a part of me. There's still like a sliver of my own consciousness that still wants to buy those vape products. Oh, it wants to. I love tasting, like the flavors I picked was something like kiwi, mango, something, something. And I was like, yeah, that sounds nice. And the other one was like strawberry watermelon. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Like that part of my is still there. It's still there. I can still see her wanting to escape. And I'm like, no, come here, bro. Come sit down. Breathe. You don't need more stuff. Oh, you have enough. You don't need to go out to other places to experience the depth of your own being as well. It helps, right? It's like polarity again, that you get to experience a different side of you by experiencing a different side of the world, because you're both communicating to one another. There's an informational exchange happening. I had this conversation yesterday talking about when we look at trees, we see something, right? But the tree as you're seeing it doesn't actually exist. That is an interpretation made by your mind from the inputs that came into your eyes. Your eyes turned that input into a signal. That signal got transmitted to your brain. Your brain then reconstructed what it thinks of as tree, right? And that whole experience communicates something to your brain. And that communication influences your state of being. So I'm in a complete agreement. I feel like there is, and it's going to happen anyway, there is some great change coming, you know, for this journey that I'm on as well. I'm probably going to get a little bit more busy, and I'm looking forward to it, right? I feel like instead of thinking of it as something to dread, I see all of that uncertainty and potential difficulty as a genuine blessing. It really is something I'm looking forward to, right? Escaping into non-escapism, even, maybe. Josh Mo, love to you again. I support and believe you 100%. What I would do isn't important. What Mel does for Mel is all that matters. Even the North Star sees the light of the moon. Exactly. Blessings with the bear. Thank you for resonating with that fractal as well. Sam, right? I find a holy grail leave-in conditioner. It gets discontinued. That's hilarious. Right now, I'm not really that funny, but comical nonetheless. Right now, on normal curly days, I use L'Oreal Replenishing Detangling Spray and Pantene's Curl Affair Curl Reshaping Cream. Hit me up with them sponsors. Starts kind of scraping it through with my fingers. Love is true. Has anyone seen the alien stuff coming out? Oh yeah, lots of alien stuff. We had like a few conversations the last few days about aliens as well, to kind of like touch on that fractal in the collective consciousness. It might just be another ploy, you know, for them to get to spend more money on their military. Who even knows at this point? I want to see bodies. I want to see alien bodies. Wave, show up, aliens! We have rooms for you. I can feed you food. I'll roll you joints. We can sit and have conversations about the nature of the world, about the nature of humanity's journey. I'm down for anything, please. Oh, please, aliens, please come here, please. Nothing, nothing. Fucking no aliens. Damn it. I believe in aliens, right? I believe the universe is too large for there to not be any aliens. But I also understand the Fermi paradox, right? I understand the whole fractal of the great filter. I am also mildly intimidated by whether or not we have passed said great filter. We might be heading for the great filter, you know, and maybe all of this alien stuff is a part of the great filter, right? Maybe all of the aliens are already there, but they have some sort of advanced technology that just makes it impossible for us to observe them. And as soon as we pass through that filter, it's almost like entering a new dimension, right? Who knows? I'm excited to find out. Even if we find out that there's nothing to find out, I'm excited for that as well. Maybe this is a sign to make your own meditation retreat that people can attend, Melty. You could set aside private time for the attendees to blog/stream. That's not a bad idea, actually, Maxine. It's just a matter of experience. I don't think I am in the position to be doing stuff like that just yet, right? And I guess that's some limiting beliefs nonsense, but it's a matter of, you know, respect, right? I have a lot of respect for people who have those meditation retreats and the amount of effort they put into it. That's why, with all of the respect, I asked, you know, if it's okay for me to do these things as well, and them saying no, I respect that as well, you know. And I feel like I still have a lot of growing to do before I'll be equipped to offer services like that. Thank you, though, Maxine. I appreciate that encouragement. Then, once I've pinned up parts of it, I keep it out of my face. I scrunch some Oasis Plus Curl Gel number 3 into the ends. I love it because it smells like lychees, and also holds curls and kills frizz. The more you know. I wash my hair and then I let it dry. My hair is pretty frizzy though, you know, so I wouldn't really consider my advices as top end. I was thinking that too, Maxine. Love you, friends. Thank you. I would need a lot of help as well anyway, you know, maybe one day. Beans onto something golden. Love is true. I hear good old stuff about that hair gel, Lois. I'm right at the end of my conditioner bottle, and what I have is working. but I wonder if there's something better I could be using. I've been considering, going all natural with my hair products as well, but it's difficult finding products that aren't owned by the same massive, global conglomerates, basically. Have you given it thought and tried to find a workaround? You're doing the right thing for you. Yeah, I've given it a fair amount of thought, right? Like, let me read you the message that I sent them, so you can kind of like see the fractal I showed up as. There. Oh goodness, I deleted my chat. Guess I was mehing about it as well. There's some weird stuff happening in my chat right now. Okay. I do feel super lethargic, and I might come off as super lethargic as well. I'm on day 3 of fasting, and I'm feeling it. All right, my body is like, I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm fine. I'm gonna continue forward anyway. I have info on a meditation yoga retreat in India, $30 a night in a silent hostel. Let me know, Mel. I'll send it to you in Discord. Yeah. Hey, Google, can I travel to India on a South African passport?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Liar. South African nationals are issued visas free of charge to visit India. Nice. Passports of all applicants should be valid for a minimum period of 6 months from the date of departure. Let's check flights. Oliver Tambo. Bruh, come on. No, don't be like this. I'm getting triggered. Why don't you know exactly what I want, interwebs? Where? India. It's like, India's big, bro. I know, Indianapolis. I'm getting triggered. I could definitely feel that fasting tension, that part of yourself that's mildly enraged. India, country in South Asia. Thank you, Explore. Yeah, no, I can't afford that. I appreciated the fractal though. Not right now. I feel like traveling is a little bit out of the scope of things. That in this some sort of distinction, right? Is like a worm soul still a soul in comparison to a person's soul? If so, then why any humans? Why not just trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of microorganisms? Right? It's part of the reason. Like, I feel like the amount of diversity communicates that no, it's more than just a soul farm, at least in my mind. You have no idea how much joy it brings my heart listening to the morning stream with everyone who randomly scream up towards the heavens at the aliens. I'm so glad I found such unique friends. Come on. Come on, Alien Soul Farm is my new band name. I like it actually. I think it'll work. Melty, maybe it's time for you to take that retreat. I don't like the idea of not seeing you for 10 days, but perhaps that is the reason why it is weighing so heavy. It's not I'm not yes go, but maybe. I did. I did consider it, Brother Bear. Like Christian communicated that fractal to me as well. And I know that he was coming from the same place that you are. But my ego won't allow it, right? I feel like it's definitely an attachment to some of the brain damage, right? Let me give you actually this experience that I'm having right now. So apparently, what we value a lot in people, and if you're here for only a moment, I love you and I appreciate your presence. Thank you. See Hoopy's name in chat as well. Hey, Management Annie, joining us too. Shell, love to you, friends, even if you're not saying anything. I honor you. So, when you, for example, see a beautiful work of art, someone spend 120 hours painstakingly doing a hyper realistic, drawing with a pencil. Right? And you look at that, there arises this experience in you of, oh, I couldn't do that, right? I couldn't do that, right? Or it would be hard for me to do that. And now we find ourselves in a world where AI, and generative AI specifically, is going to so radically change what the individual human being thinks themselves capable of, right? That experience of being able to say, I can't do that, for many things is going to go away, right? Because I feel in the next 50 years, every single person on the earth is going to know how to be able to make a product, or to write beautiful music, or to make works of art, using their imagination and their words, to be able to create businesses, to, do all of these things that we consider impressive, right, by some sort of standard right now. And from that experience, from that awareness, this this willingness to show up every day is something that is going to stimulate still, right? Even if I do a lot of my stuff with AI in the future, nobody would be able to deny the difficulty in showing up in the way that it is I am right now, right? To do it every day, right? That experience of, oh, I couldn't do that, is still potentially going to be present with this experience. And I feel like that's kind of what I'm holding on to as well, right? Where I almost see it as like an arguing point, where if someone was to communicate to me that they don't think themselves capable of doing what it is I'm doing, I can point back to love, where I'll be like, yeah, I also don't believe that I'm capable of that. Through love, though, I am capable of anything. I'm capable of pushing myself harder than I have ever seen, any other human being. And like it goes into multiple different fractals, of course. We all have different definitions about what's important to us. And I feel like you friends are, right? That's kind of the point of this whole stream, is that it did start as just a willingness, again, right, from that ego perspective of what is something that I can do that people can look to and think to themselves, I can't do that, right? From an ego perspective, from a, oh yeah, I'll show myself in the world, communicating, coming back to today's stream topic. And then during that journey, getting to meet you friends and getting to connect with the way, you know, getting connect in a way that makes me feel a little bit less lonely, that makes me feel like I don't have to prove myself, right? Change my priorities to knowing that I'm not showing up only for that experience, that ability to kind of like take a stand, but also for the connection that we make in this space. And I'm unwilling to break that connection. No matter, like, someone can offer me $1 billion, someone can offer me $1 trillion to stop doing the stream, and I will refuse to, right? Like that's how I feel about this stream and the energy that it gives me. And that's kind of what I'm holding on to more than anything. Consider it not in the position. Melt, you host meditations, kalimba, yoga, art classes, and fucking dance classes. You're a little walking meditation retreat. I guess hey Dan, I guess I, have some imposter syndrome, Maxine. It is technically true, all of the things you just said. I do host meditations, play kalimba. I can give yoga classes. I can teach people how to make art, some art therapy. I've been thinking about that a lot, since Zano is doing that as well. Dance classes. Dance classes have been one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot as well. Like that could be a cool thing to offer people. Thank you, Maxine. Like that's meaningful. I really appreciate that. I'm taking it. You might need to take a break, brother, and go absorb new information. I take breaks, dude. My breaks come during my day, Like I think of it as a balance thing as well, where instead of feeling like I'm getting burnt out, right? Like I haven't experienced that experience of being burnt out. Like I am tired right now, but that's not because of this space. It's because I haven't eaten anything in 3 days. All right. Like I understand that as well. And again, that is now new information, right? I am resting from the experience of eating food. And that might sound counterintuitive, right? Because like, oh, you can like eating food, right? I like doing these streams. So it might be nice to not do these streams, right? I agree. But I'm not only doing these streams for me, right? That's kind of the point I'm trying to make right now, is that I am communicating something to both myself, to you friends, and then to the cosmic whole by doing this, right? It's like standing up for something, and if I'm going to get to stand up for another day, I'm going to stand up for you friends, and that's the point, right? Like it goes beyond just me, right? I can't ask of you friends, and I've thought about this, right? And I was like thinking about the whole tyranny thing that Sam was saying the other day about fasting, instead of just calorie restriction or giving people a certain amount of calories to eat, to just expect people to start fasting, right? For instance, if all people on earth could spend just today fasting, we would have so much excess food that we could feed all the hungry people in the world, right? Just think about that. Like, that is theoretically possible. But it's one thing for me to fast with my own body, right? And I've grown strong enough to be able to go. The longest I've gone is 2 weeks without eating any food, and to be okay within my own being. But to expect that of another person, that's where it kind of starts getting a little bit unrealistic. And I feel it's almost the same thing for me, right? Where it's one thing for me to take 10 days off this experience. But for instance, there's 17 friends in this space with us right now. It's not going to be just me taking those 10 days off. I'm going to be expecting now 19, you 19 friends, to take that 10 days off as well. And that's the part where I feel, it's not so clear cut. It's not about me. That's essentially what I'm saying. Sure, this me, this egoic version of myself, would like certain things, but it's not about just me, right? These things have consequences. All things, all decisions, all communications to this world have consequences. And the consequence that I'm trying to get, I feel consequence does have a negative connotation to it. Hey, Google, define consequence. I want to see if there's some positivity in there as well.
Here's the definition of consequence.
A result or an effect. Typically, one that is unwelcomed or unpleasant. Yeah, so technically, there is, an unpleasant or unwelcome kind of fractal attached to it. Hey, Google, is there a positive word that is associated with consequence? Synonym for consequence. Outcome, result, effect, aftermath, matter of course. Yeah. So the result that I hope to have by doing these streams in the way that I am is one of a better world, right? We've communicated this multiple times over. And I do believe in that, right? I do believe in making connections, even if you friends aren't directly connecting with one another, even if you're not even saying something in the stream, a connection is still made. And that connection can influence the way you react in your day. The way you react in your day communicates to the world a certain state of being. The state of being, I believe, we try to communicate with one another and to one another is a state of being more loving, right? And then just the 17 people now in this space going out into the world and being more loving to their animals, being more loving to the plants, being more loving to their family members, their significant others, their colleagues at work, that does change the world, right? It actually, not theoretically, not conceptually, it actually changes the world. And I'm unwilling to stop that. Like nothing can be offered in exchange, for that level of change. You might need to take a break. Tiger's right mouth. You are literally a walking meditation retreat. We all have mad skills we could contribute. It sucks that your friends are so far away. you're right. Maybe there is more to it than I already realize. Meld's virtual meditation retreat, virtual probably is the right word. Namaste, Meld family. Love to you again, Lisa. So many beautiful people in the house today. Thanks for sharing your atmosphere, peeps. I appreciate you more and this space more than you know. I appreciate you. You're like, Mel, you don't even know I'm here. How can you appreciate me? Because I could interpret that you could have that conversation inside of you, and I'm communicating to you that I love you. I appreciate you for being here in this moment. Thank you, dear friend, for absorbing this information, for receiving this communication, right? This communicates something, and this communicates something. This communicates something. This communicates. Thank you for communicating with me, Shell. I think I just summoned you. I was thinking about you hosting a falafel making class. Yeah, gang, gang, hoopy. Love to you again. Melty, you keep manifesting change and then reject it when it doesn't show up exactly how you want. We would all be here when you get back. You know there's no separation. I know. I know. I understand. I guess that's the point, right? This stream again is a understanding, a commitment to that lack of separation. It's like I've come to a conclusion, and now because of that conclusion I've come to, it's impossible for me to go back to the states of being that I used to be in. Melty, maybe all the internet dependability and lack of localized group resonance is weighing on the old soul inside of you. Our tribal side desires to physically be in like-minded atmosphere. That's also happening, right? I keep saying this, but I feel unfortunately you friends only get to see a certain slice of my reality, right? You keep seeing me on the farm day after day, and it's like, oh, I guess that's how it is, right? And because that's how it is, you don't get to have this experience of being with like-minded people. I keep telling you, and basically October, like that's basically the date, so the surefire date that I'm going to be moving, and I'm going to go and live with a friend so that we can start a business together, right? That is happening. It is. It's gonna happen, right? Now I find myself in a time where it's almost like the moments before, where I realize there is a lot of change coming into my life very soon. And I wanted to go on that retreat in preparation for that experience, right? For that change, essentially. It's coming, right? I agree with you. That's what I'm trying to say. I agree with what you're saying, Brother Joe Schmo. I also look forward to being physically with like-minded people, as an atmosphere. And I'm gonna have that. But right now, I I have to bide my time, Lois, I had fun yesterday. Even though I didn't have live chatters, I still feel the connection of the viewers. Love is true, right? You're still communicating something to the world by showing up in that way. Agree to disagree, Melt. Please do. Melt, how about Sheer Moisture, the brand? We use that for me and Shell Jr. for amazing curls. I haven't seen that one personally in South Africa. It's okay to change the rhythm from time to time. It's a good way to learn a new dance and absorb different frequencies. I appreciate your friends' input so much. I've been making me so happy to see you again, Lisa. Blessings. Shell, I have Shea Moisture Deep Conditioner. It's amazing. Digestion is magical. It is. And the same thing, autophagy is magical as well, right? I love this experience, even though it makes me feel very somber, makes me feel very internalized, makes me feel very soft almost, right? Like I'm not the strongest version of myself right now, right? The version of me that has a bunch of glycogen in my muscles is definitely stronger than this version of me. But this version of me isn't weak, right? This version of me gets to display strength in another way. And getting to eat my fat is basically an experience, at least in my mind, of purity, right? Not purity to the extreme that we would usually think of it, but purity as a connection, right? Again, communication. Every food you eat communicates something to you, right? Like it has something to say, you know? And when you go on a fast, it's basically like you say things to yourself, with yourself, using your own body to facilitate this conscious experience, right? Like right now, my neurons are firing, my muscles are getting nutrients, my air is being processed solely from ketones created by my own body, right? And that changes the way you experience this world, and it changes the informational pattern that you're noticing. And I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. That's why I do it a lot. I planned, you know, at the start of this year to spend at least 10% of this whole year in a fasted state. You know, and I again, even though I don't think it's practical, I believe the world would be a significantly better place. There would be even more abundance if we could do that collectively, right? 10% of a year of fasting sounds a lot, right? It's like, oh, that's impossible. But it's like 3 days, 3 to at most 4 days a month that you don't eat anything, right? There would be so much more of everything, literally of everything, if we can just scale back how much we consume. Eating food is so good though, right? So we're it's very hard to convince ourselves, unfortunately. Whoever is lurking, you're precious. Yes, they are. Like I feel like this is like a little bit of a more busy stream than the ones we've had the last few while. And I just want to thank you for that. Like I know that it doesn't matter really, right? It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter to me, but it matters to me that you're here and that you're willing to show up at this space. And I appreciate that. And I do believe, you know, that it is going to make the world a better place. You are going to make the world a better place. Thank you for joining me, for making my world a better place just with your presence. I hear Melt both trying to sort his values and cope with the mixed bag of competencies. Sort his values and cope with the mixed bag of competencies. Like what I'm capable of. Hey Google, competencies. Competence is the set of demonstratable characteristics and skills that enable and improve the efficiency or performance of a job. Mm. So the way I'm interpreting your message, Hoopy, is that, at least in my mind, my values is what supports my competency, right? It's like they are unfortunately not interdependable or mutually exclusive. They find themselves very much linked. If you expect consequences, they will show up. It's true, right? I do believe in positive consequences, though. I believe in consequences in general, right? There are consequences, you know, that I do believe in, but I don't think it's evil, right? That if you know, scream at your significant other, the consequence of that could be them not wanting to be with you anymore. But that doesn't mean they're evil. Doesn't mean you were evil, right? It means that you were emotional, angry at something, and then instead of choosing love, you chose aggression. And then because of your choice for aggression, that other person chose love for themselves, getting themselves out of that experience. There's no evil in that experience, at least in my mind, right? But there is consequences. And we do have to kind of like, you know, step up and accept those as well at the end of the day. What about letting each of us, 19, fight for a day where we host one, keep the energy going, where we share energy? I keep encouraging that. And I'm going to tell you again, please, I beg you, please start a YouTube channel. Please. I really, please, I want you to do that, right? Or if you want, it might be easier to grow there, TikTok. Even that makes me cringe as well. I don't do TikTok personally. Sounds like drugs. No, thank you. No TikTok for me, right? But please, 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 we need more people contributing to the internet, right? I feel like that's the only way it's going to keep its humanity, right? By having humans share their being. You are more than worthy, right? And I had this conversation with Shan as well yesterday, talking about nostalgia, essentially, right? Contributing how? However you feel. You need to contribute, Brother Bear, even if it's just you sitting down in front of a camera and talking about your day, right? Talking about the difficulties you've had and, how you've grown from that experience. Even if not a single person ever gets to see that, you will, right? And you can think of it like photographs or a meaningful object. This, for example, right? This is a meaningful object in my life because I made it and I have an attachment to it, right? But the thing that is meaningful to me isn't actually the stick. What's meaningful to me is the attachment, all of the memories, all of the feelings that I have attached to said stick. So technically, Pepe, relax, please. Technically, I could take a picture of this stick, and even though I might not be able to take it with me, if I'm traveling, for example, I can look at the picture of the stick and experience the stuff that that stick was attached to. And I feel the internet is that, right? At an extreme that is unfathomable, where you get to create content, get to create an experience on the internet that is almost like an encapsulation of not only who you are in that moment, but of all of the things that goes attached to that moment. And by doing that, by creating on the internet over enough time, you will get to have a more full perspective of yourself, right? You'll get to remember things that have been long forgotten. And that is more valuable than any amount of viewership, right, will ever be. You cannot replace that level of depth of yourself with another person's experience thereof, unfortunately. I know it's uncomfortable. It's really hard doing stuff like that as well, but it is going to be worth it. So I know you already have a channel, at least Duck Dad. I know Shell has as well. But I would encourage all of you friends, right? People want to see you. People love people. They do, right? And if we're going to move into a future where most of the things that we used to do as human beings have been automated into oblivion, what is there going to be left to do other than be ourselves, right? Other than love people, other than offer spaces, for us to connect with one another. And it's a matter of time, right? And it's practice. Yeah, I haven't even gotten close to my 10,000 hours. Like I did the math recently. I'm like close to like maybe 2,000 hours. I've done like 2,000 hours of that, right? So I have to do 8,000 more hours before I can even start to consider myself a professional, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with spending another what, 945 days. I'm okay with that, right? And again, because I'm okay with that, I am unwilling to let go of it. It's like once I accept what is going to be expected of me and I realize what the consequences, good or bad, that my choices is going to bring, it becomes easy, right? Because I'm like, okay, I know what I need to do. I know it's going to take me a lot of time. I know it's going to potentially be uncomfortable sometimes, but this is what I'm here to do, right? I'm not here to only be comfy in my blankets. I'm here to be a part of the world. And the world, as we're building it right now, is at least potentially a part of the internet. Deep, exploring so that Melt isn't our slave. I don't feel like a slave, right? Then if I am a slave, I am a well-treated slave, right? I am happy to be a slave if I am one. Like I feel like a slave to my own body sometimes. That's why I do fasting, right? Where I'm like, yeah, I feel like a slave to this need to eat. I feel like a slave to this need to sleep, right? You can think of it as slavery, or you can think of it again as consequences, right? Consequences. And the consequence of me exerting myself and burning energy is that I want to eat food. The consequences of me being awake all day means that I want to sleep. It's not evil, it's just a part of reality. And this is a part of my reality, right? It's like breathing to me now. Right? I don't feel like a slave because I have to keep breathing air. No. I like breathing air. I appreciate. I don't want to go 10 days without breathing air because I'll be dead and I don't want to die. We have to be aware that we don't see the entire plan. If you manifest something, eventually you have to let it go and trust that it will materialize. A retreat could be the next level up. It has been a part of my mind, right? I have actually thought about it. I even have the space to do something like that, Maxine. It's just the client acquisition part of it that I have problems with, right? Reaching out to people and asking them for money is a hard one for me. Yeah, right, pretty much it. I'll even buy a wig and practice my melt catchphrases in Afrikaans. Melt, exploring the world of knowledge to bring back to his disciplines, a curly haired man from Africa. I've heard this story before. Love is true. Not gonna lie, I'm with Melt and I don't want this part of my day disturbed, but I can't burden Melt with what I think we need. I'm not disturbed or burdened, right? Like that's the thing I'm trying to say. This experience makes me feel lighter. It makes me feel like I have more hope at the end of my day for the world, for the future. Like I'm not losing anything. And I said that in my journal entry, right? When you decide to be on one path, you gain the fullness of that path, right? This is a full experience. I'm not burdened. I'm getting to live a life that is unique, right? That is mine. I get to live a life that is mine because of how I'm showing up, right? And I'm okay with that. I'm not only okay with that, but I celebrate the fact that I get to live this life. I get to spend this time with you friends. Liefde is waar. Ja. Ja, liefde is. Waar wat? Is it goed gevaar? That one I don't know if it makes any sense. Waar? Where? Wat technisch? It didn't an A, only one A. Uh, is it? We don't use it like that, right? I'm reading it, but we say dit with a D. Is dit goed? And then the good with an E, O-E, and then far. I don't know. We don't have that word technically with an F. But var you can basically add. Var wat is goed var? I will look out for shell moisture, shea moisture. Always looking for the holy grail conditioner. You identify yourself as muscle, at least in part, right? At least in part. That bull, that Taurus nature, right? Stubborn. 11, 11, 74. I have 70 on this one. I have 46 on that one. I have 52 on that one. No sing for me. Mel, I don't know. You're moving in October. Yeah, I was kind of like keeping it close to chest, but you friends were like really pulling it out of me. Which friend and which business? John, covers in pajamas. And we're going to start a visual business, right? Where I already have friends in the music scene. Martin, he basically has the equipment. He does like staging and the audio for these festival companies, and does all of the music and all of the kind of like audio processing and stuff for them. And then there is another service that is also offered to those places. That is the visual side of it, right? Where they have these, tapestries on the side of the stages, and then they have projectors that basically create, visual intrigue on those stages. And me and John is going to start a business where we offer that as a service, right? The visual intrigue side of things. And I have like hinted at that as something that's coming, but yeah, October is when the space is gonna open up. So I have a place to live. And that's what we're going to basically be getting started with. Cat's out of the bag. Now you know, identify yourself as a carrot cake. Nummy. Sometimes apple pie. I don't really like apple pie myself. I've made apple pie once, me and my grandma. I didn't appreciate it. Like I like my apples fresh and crispy, and whatever happened to it while getting cooked, I didn't approve. I identify as El Chimino, power functional, unappreciated, and damn sexy. Well, you're a liar because I appreciate you. I'm sorry. I love you, Brother Bear. They have different products for each curl type. Nice. Carrot cake is my favorite food in the whole universe. Really? Louisiana. Louisiana. Oh, goodness. I look forward to being able to either make you or give you a slice of my mom's carrot cake. Straight up, it's one of my favorite cakes, right? Like all time favorite cakes. It's ridiculously good. I'm happy that you like carrot cake. My mom does like icing and cream, no, basically cream, like spreadable cream. I don't know what you call that. I think you know what I'm talking about, right? Like cream that you can put like on a bagel or something. Cream cheese, that's what it's called. Thank you. Icing and cream cheese on carrot cake, right? Like it's so good that I have a hard time stopping when I start eating it. By the way, Melt Swampy Joe sent me a video about finding slow mo on his phone, and now he's obsessed with it. We are brothers yet again. As I slow motion everything, my wife laughs at me, and Joe gets me. Bro, I can see you two, being like lifelong friends. You just didn't know until now. Melty, I love you, brother. I support you in whatever endeavor you feel you need to pursue. Thank you for being a living example of devotion and consistency. You're doing the good works in this world. This is how we show up, right? Thank you for communicating, right? Like that's the thing. If I wasn't the way I am and I wasn't communicating to the world the way I'm trying to, I would have never been able to get a message like that. And you wouldn't have been here to share it with me. And like it's so meaningful, bro. Like I'm melting experiencing this right now. Thank you, Joshua. Contributing how? Anyway, all the ways. I will not tick nor talk. Me and Mikey just good on Falcon. I mean, failure is a great teacher, but maybe that's a lesson, right? Failure and completing the message. Learning from that as well. Thank you for teaching, Brother Bear. So, I was just talking yesterday to my friends about picking back up streaming October. Y'all, we're gonna contribute to the Melt Collective, Meltoberfest. Please do that, right? Like I feel like there's only things to be gained. You will lose nothing. If you start showing up and start creating content, do live streams, make little videos, do short videos, make art, you will lose nothing. Nothing at all. You will only gain evidence that you want to create beautiful things. And I feel like that is the point. I can contribute some sarcasm and witty commentary. Yeah, I would love that. The only social platform is this one, really. I check Discord because of displays, TikTok, Twitbook, and keep that junk. I'm only here to visit with you fine folks. That and the cat videos. And we love you too, Josh Mo. Like I feel like this is also like my special place. YouTube has been a very large part of my life for a long time, actually. I have so many ideas for little videos. They're quite random. Maybe my channel should be random with rabbit. Yeah, that sounds sick. Please, right? And like do it once a week. Make a schedule for yourself, and then try, try to show up for it. Right? Like it teaches you something about yourself as well. It's like again, know thyself. It's more of an exploration. Of who you are when you try to create things, when you try to almost like portray a communication to the world, to the internet, it says things back to you, right? Like it goes both ways. I'm liking this idea. Yeah, I would follow all your streams. Love is true. I don't really intend internet well, so I need some guidance on how to find you. But once I was there, I'd stick around with you. I feel like maybe just the Discord, posting links and tagging you would be the best way. Oh, Melty, if you do like the idea of Zoom meditation retreat, you can bring the people to you as an introvert. That kind of retreat sounds divine. I'll give it some more thought, Maxine. Maybe there could be a way for me to, structure it. I'll probably have to like create like a pretty rigid guideline in my own mind before I can, really justify it. Because that's really the thing, right? I in theory have all the skills, but I do not have the structure in which to apply them. And I feel like maybe that's the thing I struggle with more than actually this know what it takes to do the thing kind of vibe. More lessons to be learned, right? I love it, Loazana, Shanners, no pressure, but thinking about how lovely a flower worship could be. Yeah. Give pressure. Give pressure. It's our thoughts, judge you. Love is true. War, huh? What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. War. Huh? What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Joe and others, if you'd like to hear the first album of music I made last year, it's here. I also spent the time to listen to her music. It really is beautiful. Like, so peaceful as well. I know, Joe, I've been thinking about this more recently. I'm getting there. I've had it written down to start organizing streams or videos, talking about individual remedies. Yeah, giving people the context, the information, right? Hey, we have more friends here still. Thank you for joining me, right? Like that's the only thing I have to say because maybe you don't want to say anything in return. So I'll say thank you, right? Today's whole stream topic was about communicating to the world, and you friends being here in this moment communicates more to me than I would have known possible. Like I'm getting melted right now. Your friends are flattering me. Thank you. Thank you. I honor you deeply. I see Connor here. Blessings to you, dude. Hope you're all doing well. Thinking how long we've been on this journey of truth and love, right? Today is day 945. It's almost 1,000 days. We're heading towards 1,000 days. I think the 27th of September is going to be 1,000 days of showing up for love and truth. And you friends are now forever a part of that journey, right? Whether you say something or not, you just being here in this moment, this journey is being communicated to the world. Please, I beggeth of you, go and be kind to one person today, right? If that's what you get off this stream is some encouragement to go and be kind, even if that one person is yourself, right? I want to make that painfully clear that we can practice self-compassion as well. We can allow ourselves some softness, some peace, a reminder that you are worthy of love, of calm, of a moment like this. And as we keep showing up for it, we'll only grow more strong, better at being good to ourselves. Just no walnuts, okay? I'm allergic. Yeah, we do pecans, no walnuts in our carrot cake at least. I think the world cream cheese icing is the best part of the carrot cake, right? It's so good. Oh, Louisiana's music is beautiful. It really is. Not cake. Walnuts and baked goods is gross. I'm also not a walnut fan, in baked goods. Pecans, though, we call them piacaneta. I like the way they sound in Afrikaans. Piacaneta. Hey, Nancy, slept in. Made it here to hear Melt say the stream is about communicating to the world. Thank you for communicating to us, Nancy, for expressing into this world. Yeah, like communicating to the world in all of the different ways, right? In verbal ways, in facial expressions, in body language, and what you choose to eat, and what you're contributing your energy to every day. Like all of these things communicate something to the world, and it can be a little bit intense to imagine, how responsible we are. I appreciate you, friends, for growing strong in the way that you are already, right? Like you're already strong. We're just going to continue growing. It's a work in progress, Joe. Your encouragement and excitement means so much to me. Love is true, right? Gotta head out to work. Love you, Maxine. We love you, dear friend. Oh, head out for a walk to keep my sanity, not work. I was about to say, I hope that you're gonna be okay. I stream on Twitch, One Up Star. Post a link in the Discord Hoopy. That would probably be the best way for us to actually find you. You're squirting me with nuts. No, please, no. Oh, it's a work in progress. Sometimes when I'm here, it feels like that episode of Beavis and Butthead where you're told that they have to stop being so disruptive. Hope all of you are doing well. Better with you here with us, Brother Connor. I'm always telling myself, no, don't make that joke. These ain't those people. Make them jokes. Bought my tickets for Billy Talent in November. Gang, gang, bruh. Hey, Google, play Billy Talent's Fallen Leaves. I just want to hear the start of that track. Okay, I'm gonna put it down. Otherwise, I'm gonna get copyright. Like I probably got copyright striked just for that little bit, right? Like legitimately, I think it's something like a few seconds. Then they go like, "Yeah, your whole video is now ours, and any money you ever earn in perpetuity on that video is also ours because you played the first 5 seconds of our song. Thank you very much. Give me all of your content." But I want like that's when I hear Billy Talent, just heard that name, that Fallen Leaves tracks instantly starts in my brain. I think you're gonna have a good time, bro. Sending you so many blessings, man. Oh, I'm not jealous. I'm happy for you. Thanks, Joe, Connor, gang, gang. I think I summoned you too. I was literally just thinking about you and wondering how you're doing. Thank you, Loizetta, for manifesting so many of our friends into the space today. Slept in, made it to here. Love you again. Namah Shiva. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Try Honesty. Ooh, Try Honesty is one of my favorites as well. Like that track is so good. And White Sparrows. That one is also, very meaningful for me. Shan, please plan less and just do it ASAP, please. Stream what you already do and invite us to be there with you. Yeah. Making like short videos where you just kind of like talk about the individual remedies and how they could apply to people, could already be like a useful resource. Getting good at practicing, showing up in that way. It is uncomfortable. It's hard being in front of a camera and being like, but it's a skill. I'm about to head to work and do art in the park. We are throwing paint, water balloons at a large canvas. And then, when it dries, we write on paper what we would say to a friend that's struggling. And then we have star sponges, and after they dry, I will write what they wrote inside them. Blessings. That sounds like an amazingly fun time. Enjoy making art. Enjoy spending that time with other loved ones as well. I don't mean to be pushy with you, Shan. I just have confidence in you. Me too. Be pushy. Be a little bit pushy, right? We're not pushing one another from a perspective of you're not good enough if you're not performing or not creating. We're pushing one another because we love one another and we want to see more of each other, right? It's like their room didn't have a meal with you, to have Esrog join us and to be able to tell them that we love you. It's nice having you, dear friend, sending you good vibes. I don't mean to be pushy. You guys want to see the picture I have been coloring this stream of Duckling? Look in general Discord. Let's check it out. Those brushes look pretty nice. Nice. Aliens. This is the thing Duck that is coloring with his beloved little daughter. I like how she is getting the right education, being like, yeah, look at how happy the aliens are. This is so normal. Aliens. Freaking children. Okay. Susanna, that's a really cool project. You have a beautiful soul. Yes, she does. So much love. Try Honesty is my Billy Jam. Doing well, friends. Thanks for the summons. I have been working on myself. Hope that your fractals are creating beautiful experiences. My multi-fam. Thank you, Connor. Even more so if you here joining us as well. Pecans and carrot cake are lovely. Also sprinkle some of them on top of the actual icing. Zana, that sounds cool. Get that self-actualization, Connor. Yeah. Become who you are. Was it yesterday or day before yesterday? We were talking about how becoming who you actually are can make you feel like you don't know who you are, right? Because you have spent so much time knowing yourself that suddenly being yourself makes you feel like someone else because you are someone else as yourself if you have been not yourself this whole time. I'm proud of you for self actualizing, dear friend. Continue, become who you are, know who you are, and show up for that person and for the ones around you with love. This is how we save the world. Get that self actualization. Because Louisiana got a new state nut last month. Nice. Zano, that sounds like an awesome project. I hope the weather is good for it. I'm sure it will be. Thank you for sharing kindness, savoring special moments, and practicing gratitude. Love to all. So awesome. Thank you, Shell. I have an idea already. It's just a matter of getting it together and finding time to do it. It's just me to take care of everything around here. But I really will do it. Slowly but surely, we get good at all of these things. All right. It's almost like a momentum thing, at least in my mind, right? Every thought we put towards it pushes us closer and closer to that point. I think the point is to ignore who you think you are. I can resonate with that. I think the point is to ignore who people tell you you are, right? And it can be helpful for other people to mirror and to show you parts of yourself. But I am not here to tell you who you are, right? I am here to give you a perspective on who you are. And I would encourage you to ignore me if I say something that doesn't resonate with your spirit, right? Like I feel like that's the point. Like you can actually get to know who you really are by paying attention to what other people think you are. And then, basically finding something that you actually resonate with, right? And I feel like that resonation is closer to what you are than what you were told that you are, essentially. Uh, this is a kid. What? She's running around with her bike helmet trying to smash flies. Or maybe what's the point or non point after all? Who else is going to be me? Exactly, bro. You get to have that honor of being thyself. Doc, I meant the astronaut colors are the bomb. Yeah. I said be careful because anything you hit your helmet with that is harder than the helmet will break it. She screams, "You're right. I'll go get the hammer." Hand eye coordination practice. I'm downstairs changing laundry, yelling, "No hammers!" Bro, never a dull moment, right? That's what my mom used to say. With us, it's a great ability to align with all kinds of people. Love that. I love you, Hoopy. People have called me a morpher. There were these witchy ladies at a festival one time, and they were standing a little bit further behind me, and some of my friends were standing close to them, and they were watching these witchy ladies looking at me having a conversation about what I am. And the one was like, he's a morpher. And then she had that conversation with me, the friend who was standing next to them. And it melted my brain where I was like, what people think we are, right? And I still kind of like feel into that fractal, being able to morph into the person that someone needs me to be. I feel is one of the skills that I have. It's one I try to use, mindfully, trying to help individuals at the end of the day. I imagine it'll only take one shell. Shell, the astronaut, is Blipply. No, I'm tripping out. We are bridges from the shoreline to shoreline. We are the link between separated settlements, the pathway to unity. I love that, Joe. That's what I love about the space. So open to all different perspectives and ideas. Although we have small differences, we all have the goal to bring truth, love, and light into this world. And that's why we will, bro. I feel like that's why it's inevitable. That if all of us You know, and I'm thinking about like eventually the whole of humanity as a collective align with those goals, truth, love, and light. It's impossible for us to not save the world, right? It's like literally there it's not possible for us to not save the world. Morpheus, is it Morbin time? What's happening right now? Here's my pitch: 4 days of Meltoberfest, a Thursday to Sunday one. Whoever wants to take a certain time slot to stream or release any sort of content, be it pre-recorded videos, art, music, recipes, etc. That would be so cool. We can do like a little art festival, you know, making a bunch of things. Thank you. I love that. Maybe like make like a whole Discord post about it, like tagging our friends. And then if you would like to take up this responsibility, I don't want to give you more work, Jovan, but to keep adding, you know, to like remind people, hey, you know, we're getting a little bit closer. It's like 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out. You know, like please, I would love to know your falafel recipe, Shell. This one, you know, I would love that. That's such a cool idea. I love that, Joe. Like the bridge image, Joe. Yeah, we shine light in the darkness and cast shade from the sun as we need to. It's melting time. Oh, your Joe, nicely thought out. Thank you. And if it's YouTube, then content can be created in advance and released in schedule. It's true. Constantly adjusting to make the transition easier on the travelers, to make the transition easier on our future generations, right? Like there are kids being born right now, right? In the same way we were born. We didn't sign up for this bullshit. And yet now here we are having to fix it. So I would like to leave the world less broken for those who are going to follow. Melt as a trippy superhero is. Yeah, my favorite mental image. Bro, hold that mental image. I do plan on becoming a superhero, right? Like I want superpowers even. I will gene mod myself. I will biotech myself. I will nanotech myself, you know, into becoming a superhero. I'm here for the next, you know, hopefully 100 years. In 100 years, surely a lot is bound to change. We can become superheroes as well. We have a purple, we have a green. Ew, you see it. Zano has been on it. That is so purple. That is like that is like one of the most purple cards in the whole deck. Peace offering. And you go, Zano. Seems that you're not only in tune with the world, trying to share your lovin's, but you're in tune with sacred geometry as well. The lowest card is a green one. To you friends who guessed green though, still appreciating. May the taffy of love stretch throughout your day, Esrog. May it be so sticky that it sticks to everything, dragging all of that loving energy alongside you infinitely. Got some more light. Peace offering, card number 40. Got eyes on eyes, staring away, staring from behind those little heart energy hands, being held up as a peace offering. Doves coming down. White spat. That's those are doves. Yes, the stickiness too. Forgot that part. Yeah. Make sure it stays, right? Make sure you can't get rid of it, even if you try to. Saltwater taffy, kinda lovin's are the stickiest. I haven't had saltwater taffy. At least I don't think I have. Once again, peace offering. Depicted on this card are vortices of peace doves spiraling over a background of dark storm clouds. Means for, it is for. The hearts are created by golden spirals and form the core of intention held by hands seeking peace. As we view the world events in these times, it is disheartening to hear of war, conflict, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace to you too, Brother Bear. Live peace, pray peace. That's the core meaning, dude. Look at that. Oh, live peace, pray peace. Live Shanti, pray Shanti. Shanti is Sanskrit for peace, to you friends who don't know. As we view the world events, I'm just like, thank you, Gary Lee. I appreciate your lovin's, bro. Thank you for manifesting abundance into my world. It means more than I can say. Thank you for adding, for communicating peace, right? My mind, the part of my ego that is obsessed with surviving. Why do you want to keep living, ego? Why are you so obsessed with it? You being like, yeah, have some, make sure you'll survive. It'll be disheartening to hear of war, conflict, and aggression. Many, sometimes we, feel powerless, incapable of action, and defenseless in the face of the outrage. How can we be empowered? Both quantum physics and metaphysical thought affirm that by our intentions, we create our reality. No matter how dark it may seem, humankind is evolving. And it, like she typed is in capital letters, is, we are evolving. This card symbolizes prayers offered with the conscious intention of peaceful hearts everywhere to shift from darkness and fear to love and compassion. It advises you not to lose hope, rather to live peace in whatever way you are able. By your actions and intentions, you will, in whatever way, nope, butchered it. By your actions and intentions, you will accelerate the process of creating true peace. Both your prayers and your efforts in the community to actively live peace and support those who are like-minded will aid in shifting the balance. Like this is like so deeply affirming to me right now with like what it is we're showing up for and the conversation we were having in today's stream, and the card is like, yeah, yeah, you're doing fine. You are doing so fine. Thank you. In so doing, recognize that you are assisting the evolution of consciousness towards a world in which peace is truth and not solely a dream. Yeah, that's some bop. 1740, 67 there, 36. That would freaking 25 on that one. 62, 46. We have a person with 46 in their username, you know, so maybe that's synchronicity. 46 on the battery and in their name. Yes, it knocks me out. So happy to share these cards with you, friends. The trick is not to second guess the color, just go with what comes up. Yeah, usually your first gut reaction is the right one. You'd be surprised how many times we end up second guessing ourselves and making mistakes that way. That's the way, Zano, the image just comes. Peace in all three worlds, in all worlds, right? Like I want to read this now, actually. It's like a little bit of an extreme. I wrote it in the back. It goes, yeah, divine messages from source. And I think this is either a Buddhist koan or the Tao. Dharma, this Dharma. So it goes this, you know, and I feel like it fits into what Hupi just said. There are innumerable sentient beings in the universe. I vow to help awaken them all. My imperfections are inexhaustible. I vow to overcome them all. The Dharma is unknowable. I vow to know it. The way of awakening is unattainable. I vow to attain it. Woo! Peace sounds impossible. We will bring peace to the world. No coincidences in the world, none whatsoever. War. What is it good for? Coincidence? No, not a coincidence at all. Just synchrony. Perfect synchrony, as you friends always are. A pure, synchronized flow is ever present. We just aren't always paying attention. Agreed, right? We miss so much, unfortunately. Coincidence is like looking through the keyhole of the universal connection. I love that. Let's play some kalimba, shall we? The sun has set, the cold is upon me. I'm definitely experiencing it. Peppy is so warm on my lap right now, keeping me warm. Thank you, Peppy. My fingers are cold. The traditions have these negative descriptive words used to point to the unknown in so many ways. Yeah, dogma, right? Like nirvana, like moksha, like samadhi. There's a lot of them. It's again, like one of those things where by saying it, you technically take away the information, right? That's why we can sometimes communicate the negatives. Never mind? Yeah. Nirvana, never mind. Like there's a bunch of them. Moksha, liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Realizing that you always are at the end of the day. It's 44 minutes past. I'll play some kalimba. I'll give you friends the perspective. Melt when you're reading that. Let me see if the comment's gonna pop up any second now. Melt, what you're reading that is Buddhist for sure. And in certain traditions is read before Dharma teaching. Yeah. Thank you, Nanshi, for educating me as well. It really is, meaningful. Kind of like giving yourselves the full spectrum, realizing I know nothing, I vow to know everything. It's like trippy, like emptiness, like the self-centered. Exactly. I love you, friends. Let's play some kalimba, reintegrating all of this energy, communicating, right? Really ask yourself, what am I trying to say with every little kalimba pling and plong? I don't know what I want to say just yet, but whatever needs to be said is going to be said. Self-centered states. Oh, I hear what you're saying, right? It's like that whole experience of you are supposed to liberate yourself to save the rest of the world, And it can be a little bit self-centered in that way. That's why some people, isolate themselves to caves to not be distracted by the outside world. Let's go. Whew. Skip up. Stream done. Religion is one way to start the path, but at some point you stop finding spiritual guidance from a book. It's like all things, right? Like even if you go and study to become an engineer, you're not one until you actually go and apply your knowledge and get faced with real world problems and learn how to solve said real world problems, right? You cannot become proficient at the spiritual journey simply by just absorbing information, right? You have to consciously evolve within yourself. You have to pay attention to the way you react to the world, about what you're communicating, right? And then realizing that it says something about you and it says something about the world simultaneously. Your relationship with the world, essentially. Religion is one way, right? It can help, especially if you feel particularly hopeless or lost, right? But I feel as soon as we find ourselves, in that understanding that there is more to this world than just what our senses can see, that's when the true spirituality starts. I'm saying that, but I use the word created. It's okay. Religion is merely a stepping stone. If it brings comfort, then it is worthy of that pursuit. Exactly. I wasn't trying to crap on religion, friends. No, just an opinion. I resonate. And the rest is made up in my head, Joe, because as they say, simply ask, what the fuck? Yeah. Right? Allow yourself to be confused. Allow yourself to not know. Right? There's a lot to be discovered from the not know mind. To let go of the need to understand. To let go of the need to know, even. Right? Because that's, in my mind, one of the biggest shortfalls of the religion I grew up with is Christianity, right? How so many Christians believe they know, emphatically, right? Undoubtedly, the truth. And it's like it stops them in their tracks. It takes away that don't know mind, right? And it, at least in my mind, creates an opportunity for our egos to flare up, for us to judge, right? Taking the very forgiveness that we were supposed to be practicing. By which I mean I get to go to the edges and nooks and the crannies of a religion, and then it literally makes me say, what the fuck? Yeah. So much love. I appreciate you friends consciously evolving alongside me. I bid you farewell, and I say, have the most beautifulest day, everyone. I wholeheartedly love you all so, very super hulkingly, hugely, homunculously, humongously, oceanically, mammothly, monstrously, dearly, mountain all of you, oh so very, amazingly, incredible, sensually, stunningly, joltingly, enchantingly, inconceivably, gorgeously, brilliant, bedazzlingly, magically divine friends. As we love you, dearest Shan. Thank you for joining us. Shanna, love you, sister. Thank you for being beautiful. Thank you for being beautiful as well, for mirroring back the beauty that we see, for acknowledging what the universe is communicating and being willing to echo that back to the world. Knowing that we feel that way, projecting that way, and knowing that the person getting projected at is going to feel that way, allowing them a projection that might make them feel good as well. All right? We can loop ourselves into a loving world. Thank you for all of the hearts. Jovan makes happy. Yes, she does. Everyone here is special to my heart, more than you know. You are special. You matter. You will undoubtedly make even more of a difference in this world. Show up and go and do so. Choose love, even if it's only for yourself. Right? Make sure that you know that you are loved. I love you, friends. I love you. 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 Love you. Love you. Love you. Love you. And I'll see you again very soon. Tomorrow. Blessings to you. Until we do this again.